Ooh, hey yo, we back. All right, Euphoria, episode 7 from season 2. This is going to be quick because we're going episode to episode. I'm going to try to make these just a few minutes long at most. Got my lowlights. Actually, highlights first. Sounds backwards, but it's not. Direction was very, very good, which is, I'm glad to see that. I've been really, I don't know, let down by the direction and disappointed by it so far this season. It hasn't been bad, but I think they've been doing a little less than they were doing in season 1, and they weren't really landing. Specifically the transitions in this one because of how it was presented, which we'll get into in a second. So smooth. Really liked it. Great job on Sam Mendes, I think it is. Or is it Sam Mendes? Somebody. Mendes, I know is his last name, I think. He's good. Did a really good job. Love the direction. Layout. Story told through the lens of Lexi's play. I love that. It really made it enjoyable to watch, especially because something that I didn't like about it, which we'll talk about. This at least gave it an interesting take. And just that Lexi gets her own episode. That was another highlight, is that finally Lexi gets the shine that you would think that the best friend of the main character gets. I mean, she got so little screen time up until now that it seems stupid that they had made her Rue's best friend because she never was with Rue. Ever. Like, I think there's one episode in the very beginning where they hang out, and that's it. All the way until now in season 2. Even now, they don't really hang out, and it's just like you see that she's concerned for Rue, but you don't really know why. So... but this hopefully is a start of her getting more screen time, just regularly. Lowlights. Nothing really happened. And that goes hand in hand with the highlight of the layout. I think the layout kind of distracts you from the fact that none of the plots were furthered at all. Literally, this was this definition of a filler episode, which you usually don't see very much in dramatic shows. Especially when there's only 10 episodes, it seemed like they almost didn't have enough material to get themselves through all 10. Which is one of those weird things that keeps this show from being one of the top tier HBO shows. It's got everything there to be iconic, and it just falls short in certain ways, and that's the inconsistencies, and this is one of them. I think this was an interesting ploy to distract the viewers from the fact that, I mean, this is part 1 of a part 2, because it ended with a to be continued, but it was like you could have just made it one episode, which is whatever they're probably putting into the next episode. You know, as much as I love the whole play being told through Lexi's play, it's like whatever information they're giving us in the next episode could have taken place this episode. I'm sure of it. So, I don't know. It seems a little drawn out. We really only end up just feeding into, I think the rest of my notes are kind of on that same basis of just specifically, we only see 5 minutes of Fez. I know we see him for more than 5 minutes, but really we only see about 5 minutes of what he's doing. We see him getting his shirt after Faye has ironed it. We see the guy walk in immediately afterwards, tell Faye, like, be cool, and he's definitely, like, about to record something crazy is about to happen. We see Fez ask about his tie, then we go back and we see a couple different cuts of him just going at it with the tie, and then we see Ash getting a little curious about, like, what's going on with everything, and... like, it seems like we're seeing more than we are, but really even the fact they leave off before anything at all happens, it ends up with just Fez finally leaving or getting ready to leave and going, are we all right? Is everything all right? Everything good? And that's it. And really that span is just 5 minutes where absolutely nothing happens. And that brings me to my next point, which overall, we learned nothing new about anyone in this entire thing. I think maybe there's a detail given about Maddie that we didn't know about, like, her childhood and just her growing up and being a friend. But even that, I feel like maybe if I go back and be like, oh, we kind of knew, whatever. But I finished the episode and went like, why did I watch that? Plot doesn't move forward, same thing. And it just, again, overall, felt like a filler episode. So I was kind of disappointed in that. And if it weren't for the fact that it was portrayed through Lexi's play, which I thought was cool, and the direction was very impressive. I wasn't a huge fan of this episode. And I really wanted to be because of those two good things. I wanted them to give us something with it, and they just didn't. We watched all the characters we give a hoot about sit down and watch a play about their lives, in which we see all these details that we either already knew or actual specific scenes we've already seen. They were recycling, like, stuff from Rue's dad's funeral. Like, we saw the same shot of her from the behind that we've seen like 3 times this season. Also, then we see the scene of Rue snorting the pills, which is just, I mean, I'm not a drug addict, but I just think logically, at that point, she was new to it, and it's like, I know she started when her dad was sick and everything, but it's like, she was very new to it. Even the way they shoot her, it's like, you see it, she's not like down on the drugs, and it's like, it would take a good while for her before she started snorting that stuff. Like, she would have just been popping the pills at that point because it was really just for, like, pain, and she wasn't super weary of what she was doing. And it's like, so her having been, like, she was already, like, Lexi walks in, she's, like, lining up the Coke on the, or the crushed up pills on, like, a tray, and it's like, I don't know. I just don't, certain things about that are a little too far-fetched for me. Could just be my opinion. But that is season 2, episode 7. Hopefully episode 8 gives us what we wanted in episode 7 and can make up for it. I just like the show enough that I wish that they filled this episode with more, because now that's just a lost episode for us when we only have 3 more. If that. I don't even know if it's confirmed for 10. I hope it is. But, yeah. Season 2, episode 7 of Euphoria. We'll be back for episode 8 next week. Thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying. And if you have any conflicting opinions than I do, please leave it in the comments. Like and subscribe. See you next week.